All right, well, it looks a little different today because I've started to cut back some of the biomass in the pollinator garden, the herb garden, and the shrubbery. Finished with the rough chop. No, I don't do chop and drop here because it would just be too much biomass. I want to see all that green flush up. In fact, it was pretty amazing because I was cutting back the pycnanthemum, which you saw in the winter tour, and you could see all the little greenery coming up, and a lot of the honeybees are flying around here. I think they were getting confused because lo and behold, just yesterday, some of the crocuses started to come up. And I see some honeybees flying around, but there's none in here right now. But in the front yard and right here, all the crocuses started to come up and the honeybees were ravenous. We only have 2 days of sun, so I wanted to take advantage of it. I did a little yesterday, a little today. And I'll probably start in the orchard and maybe in the meadow house tomorrow if I don't get to it this afternoon. The only thing I left up right now is the Calamagrostis, Carl Forrester. Basically, the way you want to cut the grass is you want to tie it almost like a ponytail just to keep it together. And then I get grass shears or a hedge trimmer. We have an electric hedge trimmer that we use, and just cut it at about 6 to 8 inches above the ground level, and then you'll start to see a flush of green come up. Also, I had cut back some things because I couldn't see the shrubs. So I was doing a lot of hand clipping because the herbaceous perennials really build a lot of biomass, and I didn't want to accidentally cut a shrub. And look at how much these prostrate cherries have grown. So I have to figure out how to actually put them behind here or maybe trim them. They seem to really love the stone, but it's going to be a problem with our walkway here. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with. And yeah, I accidentally decapitated one of our roses in here because you imagine all that herbaceous perennials up here, and I didn't want to hit the shrubs. And I have seen some bunny damage, unfortunately. Bunnies like to snip at a 45-degree angle, and I saw some gnawing marks on the quince, and you'll actually come see it right here. Some little gnaw marks here on the edge, but that's not gonna affect the quince too much. And I sliced off another piece of this quince that was like going into the walkway. So now that I have the main part of this done, I'm probably gonna go in here and do a little bit more fine trimming, get some more of the biomass out of here, and just, you know, clean up the walkways a little bit so that by the time spring comes, we'll be ready for it and not having to rush. I'm actually really grateful that we had 2 warm days before we're gonna have some more rain and snow, because it's allowed me to do this, because after the rain and snow, we're gonna have a springtime, and then I won't have to rush into like cutting everything back because I've already done it. All right, so we just rented our friend's pull behind. We hook it up to our UTV, and we're gonna mow this meadow. It's 2 days of sun, very windy. we're gonna use these 2 days to actually mow this down because I could already see some of the cool season grasses, the lupinus, and some of the allium are already coming up, so I really want to get this down soon before we get rained on. I think the last time we were out in the garden, it was literally a month ago. We had 2 really nice sunny days, and now we're in the forecast. It's early April, and we have 2 more nice sunny days. So I decided to get out here in the garden. Normally I prep this garden before the winter months, but time got away from me. So I just came out here the other day and started clipping some of the old stalks of the tomatoes. You can even see some of the tomato skins here. That's kind of cool. They almost look like plastic. It's pretty neat looking. You could see some of the perennial crops are coming up though. So this is probably like a little celery. The physalis is over here. Actually, this whole area is going to get rehauled. So that will be a future episode because I think 2 or 3 years ago, this was put in, these raised beds, stone raised beds. And then the gazebo went in before these. We built this around the gazebo. And now the stonemasons are coming back and they're gonna finish the job, which is putting stone down as a walk path. And then down here will be proper stone steps. So you don't go like just somersaulting or tumbling down here. And eventually this whole area will be landscaped. It's a bit of a weedy mess over here. I have some irises that are planted along this path, which look really nice. The teasel, which is this kind of spiky plant. This is actually not a native plant. People always comment about it because it looks so stately, almost like a rattlesnake plant in a way, but it gets really beautiful purple flowers that the bumblebees absolutely love. And this was used for carding sheep's wool and was brought over, I believe, from Europe. And it's a biennial, so it grows really low to the ground. This is what it looks like. So in that first year, it'll look like this little cabbagey, kind of ruffled, rumpled bullate leaf. And then it'll stick out these really tall stalks. I find them to be a problem only in the sense that, yes, they're great pollinator plants for your bumblebees, but they are picky, as you could see, and sticky, and they are very hard to mow over. So if you could get them early in the season or dig them out, they have a really long taproot. You can see they're all throughout here. So we're gonna have to do something about that. I have this big area here that is like a weed coverage because it gets so weedy. But I think once we start getting a stone path down, it's going to be a little less challenging. And then we have to move all of these out. So these are the vines that we grow up on here. This is a Lonicera Kinsley's Ghost, as is that one, but we're gonna have to move all that out pretty soon. And I might be a little late to planting this garden because we will have that stonework hopefully happening within the next month or two. Now you can see that this has become quite the strawberry patch. Sandra will assert that last year we had a really good strawberry harvest, didn't we? For weeks.
Well, this is a serious strawberry haul today. This is another day of a great strawberry harvest. I mean, look at this. My mom's in town, so I could leave her some down where she's staying at the meadow house.
I'm just gonna add a little bit more soil to where the areas are low. I always have to fight little chipmunk holes, so you'll see we have one right here. So I don't know if it matters if I cover that up because tomorrow it'll probably be opened back up again. But there are some areas where it's a little low that we could add some of this, namely like right around here. This bed has largely become a vegetable bed still. And I've also planted some really beautiful perennial herbs that sometimes take a little bit longer to grow. So here is some sea kale. You can see it's growing up right here, all the new purple growth. And then I have some chrysanthemums here. They're a Chinese herb. And then this is rhodiola rosea, which typically grows, it's more of an alpine plant, and it's growing really well. And I normally just come out here and I just top this bed off with some espoma. I'll use their raised bed gardening mix or their garden soil. Oh, here's a little rhodiola coming up right here. I also planted some butterfly weed, which again is an herb, but you harvest it for the root. So any of those crops that take a little bit longer, I found that growing them here makes a bit more sense. And I'll probably have to come up with another place to put tomatoes because it's not good to plant them after 3 years in the same space because then you invite the possibilities for infections in the soil. I don't think we ate that many tomatoes last year though. We're not like canning yet. We have one more day tomorrow. That's gonna be nice out. So I'll definitely be working in the garden as well, but I think this will probably take me a good half an hour to finish. And then we'll check back again, likely in May. Typically it's like the end of May when you could really start planting your vegetables because it risks being frosted. Last year, we had a very warm season and everybody got excited and started planting in mid-May. And then we had one solid freeze right at the end of May, which sucked because a lot of crops got killed. But for now, I'm not gonna be planting anything. I'm just gonna be cleaning it up and prepping it for next month.